Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working on my son's 1985 318i. Just a simple job. We're going to replace the plugs, cap and rotor, and wires on it. When you're going to do this particular job, especially for the spark plugs, it's best if you can let it sit overnight and keep, have the engine dead cold. These have aluminum heads on them, and it's just going to make the job a lot easier if you do it that way. You're going to see in a minute here, I'm going to show you the spark plug. I'm going to try to show you the spark plug. It didn't, the camera wouldn't adjust properly. So there are Bosch spark plugs on there. on these older BMWs, if you have this little cap that you're about ready to see here in a minute, you're going to need to take it off from the spark plug. A lot of spark plugs don't have it on there. They'll have it sitting in the box. But so that little cap that's there, you need to make sure it's off of it. And you'll see the threaded part there. That's what you're going to want to have when you put it back into the motor. I also try to show you that on the box it will tell you the gap for the spark plug. They usually come pre-gapped nowadays, but if you have a gap tool, it's really a good idea to just make sure you check the gap and make sure it is what the box says it is. That'll make things a lot better for you. When you go to put these spark plugs in, you always want to put it on your socket and extension, if you need an extension, and just put it in there by hand first, and then tighten it down with the ratchet until it'll stop. You'll feel it stop, and then just give it a little snug up, and that's it. You don't have to go crazy on these. For the cap and rotor, you can see there's a little notch there on the end of the distributor shaft. And there's a little tab inside of the rotor. So you line those up and push it down into the distributor. You're going to give it a little bit of turn to the left and to the right. Just make sure it's in there. Make sure it's all the way down. And the same thing is going to be with the distributor cap. It can only go one way. There's two different notches on there. You're going to see it here in a second. And it can only go on the distributor only one way. So make sure you line up the correct notches, put it on the distributor, and then put in the two little snap clips there that hold it in place. Once you do that, just give it a little tug left and right, make sure it's sitting in there properly. And then we'll go ahead and install the wires. So basically that's the number 1 wire, 2, 3, and 4. The one in the middle goes to your ignition coil. So make sure you end up doing that the right way. If not, when you go to start up the motor, you're going to have problems. So also, these are NGK cables. A set was I like pretty much. They give you a little bit of dielectric grease that with a little cotton swab you can put inside, just a little bit on the inside of the cables. Just don't go far down in there, just on the outside there a little bit is all you're going to want to do. When you go to put these on the spark plugs, I had a little bit of trouble with this particular set, but you need to make sure it goes onto the spark plug, and when you push in, you're going to hear it click. You'll hear it click against those threads of the spark plugs that I showed you. So when you hear that nice little click on there, you know that you're in there solid. And just go ahead and start putting each one in there, nice and easy. Take your time. Make sure they're sitting in there properly. So that's the number 1 cable. Again, put a little bit of the dielectric grease on there, just a little bit on there, and then start running. This is the number 2. You can see on the valve cover it's actually labeled, so that one goes there. I cheated and looked at, we have a 316 BMW e30 sitting off to the side, so I cheated to make sure I had the right routing on it. This is number 3, and you can see the number 3 on the valve cover right there, and then number 4. So that's it. They're all routed. This is on the ignition coil. Make sure you put that boot on there properly to make sure that it's nice and sealed, covered. You don't want water be running on top of the ignition coil there. I'm going to have to get a little bit of some kind of cable management here to make it a little bit neater and cleaner, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. We've got two E30s, a 318i, a 316 Euro spec, and two E28s, a 528e and a 535i. So I'm going to be making lots of videos, hopefully. For some of us that have the older BMWs, there's really not a whole lot on YouTube. So if that's something you enjoy, make sure you hit subscribe and like the video. Thank you.